All right, class, welcome. Today we're going to tackle something that is, without a doubt, one of the biggest hurdles for anyone learning Mandarin, getting the tones right. We're going to zero in on two very common family words because they really are the perfect example of why mastering tones isn't just about sounding good, it's about making sure you're actually saying what you mean to say. So let's just dive right in. Why do these two words, ge for older brother and didi for younger brother, cause so much confusion? Well, it's because on the surface, they seem so similar. But that tiny little shift in your voice, that change in tone, makes all the difference in the world. And believe me, getting this down is like finding a key that unlocks a huge part of Mandarin pronunciation. Okay, let's start our deep dive with the word for older brother. Ge. This word is just a perfect, textbook example of the very first tone in Mandarin, what we call the high-level tone. Now, first, just take a look at the characters themselves. You'll notice right away that the character ge is repeated. This is a really common feature in Mandarin, especially for family words. It's called reduplication, and it's a way of making the word sound a bit more familiar, a little more affectionate. But while the characters are important, today we're really focusing on the sound, because the entire difference in meaning we're talking about today comes from the tone. So here we have the pinyin, which is our trusty guide to pronunciation. It's spelled G-E-G-E. Now here's a little insider tip for you. In a real, everyday conversation, that second syllable often loses its tone and becomes what we call a neutral tone. It's lighter and quicker, so it sounds more like ge. But for our purposes today, for learning and getting it right, we absolutely have to master the tone on that first syllable, ge. This description here is spot on. The first tone is high, and it's level. That means it doesn't go up, it doesn't go down, and it doesn't dip. You have to hold it steady at a pretty high pitch. You kind of have to find a note in the upper part of your voice and just hold it there. Listen, gay, gay. Think of it like a dial tone on an old phone, just one flat, continuous sound. A really common mistake for students is not starting high enough. It has to be noticeably higher than your normal speaking voice. All right, let's move on to our second word, the term for younger brother. This is where that all-important contrast really starts to become clear. You're about to hear the difference loud and clear. And again, just look at the characters. You see the pattern, right? Just like with JJ, we have the character Didi repeated. So the structure of the word is exactly the same. But as you're about to see with the pinyin, the sound, the phonology is where everything changes. So here the pinyin is spelled D-I. D-I. And that little mark right there, that accent falling down over the I, that is our signal. That mark tells us this is the fourth tone, and it tells our voice to do something completely different than what we did for the first tone. It's not about holding a note steady anymore. This analogy is perfect. The fourth tone is not a gentle slope. It's a sharp, decisive, falling sound. You start up high, maybe around where the first tone is, and then you just drop your voice quickly and firmly. Listen. D, D, D. It's got this authoritative feel to it, almost like you're giving a command. It really is like a verbal exclamation point. Okay, so we've broken them down one by one. We've looked at the high, level tone and the sharp, falling tone. Now for the most important part. Let's put them right next to each other. This is how we take what we know in our heads and turn it into something we can actually do with our mouths. This table lays it all out beautifully, doesn't it? You have ge, think of it as a straight, high line. And then you have di, a steep, downward drop. That one single feature, the tone, completely changes the meaning of the word. And this is so crucial because culturally, the difference between an older and younger brother is a very big deal in Chinese society. It's all tied into deeply rooted ideas of family hierarchy and respect. So mixing these two up isn't just a simple pronunciation mistake. It could be seen as a bit of a social blunder because it mixes up that established family order. The language itself is built to make sure that distinction is always crystal clear. All right, theory is great, but speaking a language is all about muscle memory. So let's move from just talking about it to actually doing it. I really want you to practice this out loud with me. Don't be shy, this is how we learn. Fantastic. Let's go through this together. I want you to really pay attention to how your throat and your mouth feel as you make these sounds. Okay, first up, the first tone, high and level. Ready? Let's go. Ge, ge, ge. Excellent. Now for the fourth tone. Start high and then a quick, sharp drop. Ready? Here we go. D, D, D. Great. Now for the real test. Let's alternate between them so you can really feel that contrast. Follow me. Ge, di, ge, di, ge, di. Can you feel that? The first one is the sustained tension, and the second one is this quick release. That's the difference right there. So let's talk about some of the common traps students fall into. We've touched on these, but let's be really clear. For that first tone, the biggest mistake is not starting high enough. You can't let it be in your normal speaking range. You also can't let it waver or drop off at the end. It has to stay flat. For the fourth tone, the mistake is being too timid. Don't let it be a slow, lazy slide like D. No, it has to be a sharp, confident drop. D. You have to be firm with it. The whole goal is to make the difference between the two sounds completely obvious. So, if you take just one thing away from our lecture today, let it be this. In Mandarin, the tone isn't just decoration. It's not just part of the accent. The tone is the meaning. When you change the tone, you are literally choosing a different word. Tones in Mandarin are just as important as consonants and vowels are in English. They're absolutely fundamental. And this is really just the beginning. I want you to take what we've done today, this method of breaking down and comparing, and apply it to other words. For example, try comparing ma, first tone for mother, with ma, the third tone for horse. Or think about mai, the third tone for to buy, and mai, the fourth tone for to sell. You can see how important this gets. If you use this gege and dd pair as your model, you'll build an incredibly strong foundation for speaking Mandarin clearly and accurately. You all did excellent work.